Brett Brown is the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, and a lot of fans are getting fed up with his coaching and think he should be fired. There are a lot of valid reasons why people suggest doing so. Is this the best decision for the Sixers? I'll answer that in this video. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Story of Sam back again with a brand new NBA video, and in this one we are talking about Brett Brown's coaching abilities, or lack thereof. If you are brand new to my channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button because I am on the road to 400 subs and all help is greatly appreciated. Today's comment question today is, do you think Brett Brown should be fired or should the Sixers keep him? And make sure to explain why as well. Before we get into it, make sure to drop a like on the video. Let's try to hit 10 likes and let's get straight into it. Brett Brown is a coach who constantly gets his team eliminated in the second round of the playoffs. The Sixers have lost in the second round in back-to-back seasons, despite, in my opinion, having the most skilled roster in the entire Eastern Conference last year when they lost to the Raptors in Game 7. This seems to be an occurring problem for Brett, and if you look at the standings in the NBA this year, Philly is 6th in the Eastern Conference. Again, having the best or second best roster in the East, they have Embiid, Simmons, Horford, Tobias Harris, and a lot of other role players that are pretty good shooters and are good for spacing. The thing about the Sixers is that they are so inconsistent. Sometimes they'll go on a really big winning streak, and then a lot of people are like, wow, the Sixers really might be a championship contending team this season, and they have the potential to be every now and again, but I cannot see this team as they stand right now being a complete team that can compete with the Bucks, who they did dominate on Christmas Day, but they are now on a 3-game losing streak. The Celtics are another team that the Sixers will have a hard time against. The Celtics beat the Sixers in 5 games in the 2018 playoffs, with Brett Brown being completely outcoached by Brad Stevens. In big moments in that series, the Sixers often got poor possessions and just settled for shots they shouldn't be taking. They went down 3 games to 0 in that series, and at that point, it was practically over. Then, during the next NBA season, Philly was able to acquire Jimmy Butler, an all-star level shooting guard that can play great defense, and overall just a top guard in the NBA. The Sixers ended up as the 3 seed once again, winning 51 games compared to the 52 in the previous season. They took care of Brooklyn in 5 games during the first round, and had to face the Raptors in the second round. We all know how that ended. They lost in 7 games to the Kawhi game winner. And you're probably asking yourself, what does Kawhi making a crazy game winner have to do with Brett being a bad coach and not suitable for the Sixers? It's because when your organization is getting better and better players, especially last season, having 3 players that are all-star level talents and you are still not improving, it definitely has to do with the coach. With the addition of Butler, the Sixers won 1 fewer game and lost in the second round of the playoffs once again. Brett Brown is like the Jason Garrett of the NBA. They both have all the talent in place and still haven't found a way to get to the promised land. Garrett has some of the most skilled offensive players on his football team, the Dallas Cowboys, but they continue to underperform and not make the playoffs year after year, and that is why he was fired today. Something that they need to do with Brett. Most people just assume that Brown is a good coach because the Sixers end up with a good record that is near the top of the East every year, but the roster that they had last year should have beaten the Raptors, and I remember late in those playoff games, there were a lot of shot clock violations and just stupidity turnovers that cannot happen when you're competing for a championship. It does seem though that Brett has a very good relationship with the players, and guys like Ben Simmons appears to have a genuinely strong connection with him and love working with him. And although that can be a good thing when done properly, I think that Brett is often too nice to the players and treats them more like their friend, which can give the illusion that you don't have as much power as you should and your players aren't respecting you as their leader and don't value the things you say as much if you treated them like most coaches and seriously hold your players accountable, which is something every winning team needs to do if they want to be serious sets to win it all, which the Sixers, that is their main goal this year. Now in this current NBA season, the Sixers got Tobias Harris, Josh Richardson, Al Horford, and more. But unfortunately, they lost Jimmy Butler in free agency to the Miami Heat, which is a team who the Sixers could match up with in this year's playoffs, which would be a very good matchup, speaking of which that the Heat have players like Bam Adebayo, Kendrick Nunn, and Tyler Hero. The Heat are currently above the Sixers in the East, but who knows, by the time you're watching this video, the Sixers could have moved up to like 2 or 3 in the East, but that's just how the Sixers go. There are so many ups and downs throughout the season, and guys like Embiid will go on social media trolling his opponents when he's winning, and then he's all sad when they're losing. I think they would have more success if they all just try to stay more level-headed throughout the season, and that mindset needs to be facilitated through Brett Brown, and the rest of the players should follow. This Sixers team already has 3-game losing streaks, which is not good at all, and the problem with the team that doesn't have to do with Brett is a health issue. Embiid is constantly missing games left and right, usually for minor stuff, and I believe that they are load managing him, and all of a sudden when he has a sore ankle in the second part of a back-to-back, you get suspicious. This isn't necessarily a bad thing if Embiid wants to load manage, but if he wants to play and the team is holding him back due to safety purposes, I don't think that is the smartest move. This team is still relatively new to each other, so as many games as they can play with one another the better, so they are better suited for the postseason. I have another thing to talk about Brett. I have heard a lot of other people talk about this as well. He doesn't get the most out of his players, and what I mean by that is he has Embiid at the 3-point line almost all game, which he's a pretty decent shooter. He's so much better in the low post though when he can get some rebounds and draw double teams, leading to more open shots. Even people like Shaq and Charles Barkley talked on TNT. They basically said he needs to impose his will in the paint and strike fear into the defenders. He is over 7 feet tall at the end of the day. And after Chuck and Shaq got on him for his recent play in the post, he dropped 34 points, I'm pretty sure, and over 12 rebounds against the Celtics the next game when he really started imposing his will. When the Sixers really lock in and realize they need to win this game and their lights are the brightest, they have played well this season. Like against the Bucks on Christmas Day, they controlled that game from start to finish. But recent games like against the Magic, when they lost on the road, another theme of this team, they have a poor record on the road this season, and no amazing teams in the past that have won championships have had a road record of below 500. The next problem I see with Ben Simmons and how he's refusing to shoot threes, I mean, a lot of the blame should go to Brett Brown. It is in his control if Ben shoots the ball. If he tells Ben to shoot 2 or more 3-pointers a game, he will do it. He is giving way too much power to the players. When he knows if Ben still can't shoot the ball at all during the playoffs, it is going to make it harder for Embiid to work down in the low paint because Ben will create terrible spacing and he won't be able to get his easy transition points in the playoffs because the game slows down. So the transition is going to be cut to a minimum, which is going to make Ben's efficiency go down and down. And during the end of games, Ben is very useless in half-court sets, to be completely honest. He is a good player to attack the rim, but he usually just drives to pass. And what I mean by that is, look at a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who actually drives the ball looking to dunk on someone. That is something Ben Simmons needs to do. Ben Simmons is way too passive. He just dribbles into the paint and then dishes it out for another 3-pointer. That would make him a better passer as well if he could draw more defenders in, leading players to be even more open, which is something Brett needs to start developing in him and have him really turn into a #1 pick caliber player that he wants to be. It all starts with working on the parts of his game that are his weaknesses. I do think that Tobias Harris has been disappointing. Not that his numbers are bad, but he has been so up and down this season, and he is hesitating a lot when he pulls up for his 3-ball, and I do think he is a little bit overpaid. He does have like an $180 million max contract for someone who has never even been an all-star before, and a lot of Sixers fans will agree with me in this whole Fire Brett Brown campaign. There's even a petition online to get him fired with over 300 votes out of 500 as their goal, although I don't want to speak all negative in this video. I found a lot of articles on why they should keep Brett, and he's been an extremely underrated coach, crediting him for the process of building through the draft and getting Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, something I do give him credit for, turning the worst team in the league by far into a team trying to compete for a championship in only a couple of years, which was a very quick turnaround. The articles also state how Brett has to deal with a lot of injuries on the team to players like Embiid, and he shouldn't be penalized for that, which I agree completely with, but players being hurt can't be an excuse all the time for him not being able to lead his teams in big moments. It is a valid point though if his players were at full strength. Embiid was very sick during the 2019 playoffs versus the Raptors. I didn't think the Sixers coaching staff did a good job of developing Markelle Fultz. I do think they stripped Markelle's confidence, and maybe they could have held on to him a little bit longer because he is playing pretty good this season on the Magic compared to what he did last year in Philly. Make sure to leave a comment down below of your thoughts of Markelle Fultz, and if you think that the Sixers should have kept him on to him a little bit longer. I think the Sixers could be a very good team in a couple years when the team matures, because I don't see Ben and Joel having the greatest maturity levels and aren't fully focused on being all in and trying to be the top seed in the Eastern Conference, which is very valuable for getting the easiest road to the NBA Finals, which it seems like the Bucks are going to lock up in the East right now, and I will believe they will do so in a month or two. Overall, I don't hate Brett Brown. I'm just tired of seeing the Sixers make these same mistakes over and over again all the time, and it just gets really annoying when they have the talent to go all the way, but they just seem to keep on coming up short, and it's very frustrating. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you today. If you did enjoy, make sure to smash that subscribe button because we are on the road to 400 subscribers and every sub counts. If you didn't yet answer the comment question of the day, make sure to do so. Do you think Brett Brown should be fired? And make sure to explain either way why. I think they should keep him this year, and if they fall short to make the NBA Finals, it is time for him to find a new team. If you did make it to the end of the video, make sure to smash that like button as well. Let's try to get 10 likes. I know we can do it. Make sure to drop any video ideas you have in the comment section down below because I need more ideas of what you guys want to see, and literally anything you want to see, just tell me. I read every single comment. It's been Story of Sam, and I'm out.